two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. It's a me, Eduardo.
Guys, it's Justin Brown. I don't know what the fuck that was.
You know what it is. It's media popcorn, baby. We're doing Super Mario Brothers movie. But you telling me Charlie Day and Chris Pratt can do those Italian accents, but I can't? Then it's like blasphemy?
Brandon, you were just significantly worse at doing.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
come
you
on.
are.
If you put me in a phone booth, I would not a phone booth, but you put me in a recording booth. Imagine I was in a phone booth.
Why are you in this phone booth, Brandon?
In a phone booth just doing dial-up with Super Mario Brothers. I mean, that'd be on par with what you see out here in LA. There's some crazy shit you see.
Well, listen, AI is taking over. You're never gonna see any fucking voiceover actors making money anymore. But that's just beyond the point.
True.
Everything's gonna be Morgan Freeman
or Chris Pratt, because apparently, between this and he's also being Garfield. You got the Lego movie stuff. He's doing a bunch of stuff with the voice, which is wild because he has a pretty generic white guy voice.
Yeah,
there's never been anything like extra about his voice. Like, I think he's a decent comedy actor, but I've never like his voice been like, that's distinctively Chris Pratt. Charlie Day was more recognizable to me, but even then I thought both Luigi and Mario like kind of fell flat for me, compared to like a Seth Rogen, which is perfectly cast as Donkey Kong, or even Jack Black as Bowser, which didn't really make sense until Bowser started singing. And that's like, oh, that's why they put Jack Black.
Yep.
It's like, because I'm like, why is Jack Black's voice different? Like, he doesn't even sound like Jack Black. And then when he sang that Peaches song, I was like, you know what? If this gets me Jack Black at the Oscars singing Peaches, I'm all for it.
That would be fucking amazing.
Because
only if he's actually wearing a Bowser outfit.
But have you seen have you like listened to Tenacious D at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So like for me, like
me slowly.
Yeah, like so for me as a Jack Black, like music fan, I was kind of like, if you're an adult and you're aware of his music, you know that he was like, he meant this sexually. This isn't like a kid's friendly Peaches. He's like, he's like, for all the adults, y'all know I'm talking about the pussy.
Peaches and cream.
And then you'd be in the chat.
I'm a fiend.
I mean, it'd be amazing if he did a remix with 112.
That would be fucking wild.
They could make that happen, actually.
I mean, yeah, they ain't doing nothing.
No,
I mean, Slim had that "I'm So Fly" song for a second, but and then they're fucking looking like a Muppet. I'm so fly.
Yeah, once Diddy got his hands on 112, they were done for.
Yep.
He was like, you got that little Diddy beat, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to the bank, y'all going to the Po House. Just do that Diddy bop. But UV in the chat asked, did we see the video of Jack Black actually dressed as Bowser singing the song? Yep, I've seen that video.
Amazing.
I mean, capitalize it. I mean, because I'm sure he gets a little bit of something because that song now is released on like all the platforms and stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in this movie I really liked, and there's a lot of stuff I did not like. Okay. How'd you feel, Justin, when you saw it?
I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most. So I actually watched this with Jackson.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. If you saw one of your kids, I wonder if that's a different experience than me going as a grown adult by myself. Well, not by myself.
Let me just throw this out. So first of all, obviously Jackson's 4 years old. Yeah. And I would say this has to be geared towards kids who are older than like a 4-year-old, like maybe probably like 7-ish. So I think this was a little too quick early for him, because there are some points he was just like too scary. Because it is, especially at the beginning when Bowser, his ship is coming, his fucking land or whatever is coming in and all that business. And then like
and then the Luigi like getting chased by like
in the haunted house. The haunted house.
Good call out to Luigi's Mansion. I like that. That was cute.
Yeah. Like but Jackson's like, no, too scary. So like I think they needed, if they want, because this is obviously marketed towards like, hey, you can bring kids to this, but you're gonna have some adult themes and things like that they're not gonna quite get. I think they needed to tone it down a little bit. But then again, I also think because of the animation that they do these days, it does come off as a little bit more real, and it can be scary for kids.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's rated PG. And it's like it's interesting because it kind of felt like it wanted to have its cake and eat it too, with regards to its general audience appeal, because there wasn't enough for like an adult to kind of really enjoy it the way you would like normally like a Pixar movie or something like that. Where I thought the beginning the commercial was funny, right?
Yeah.
When they were doing they were doing the fixing, and then they're like the creepy star in the prison that was like happily talking about depression shit, like life is just infinite sadness and stuff like that. And then like the little bird dude's like, will you stop talking, please, Lord? Stuff like that. And then the Peaches song, of course. But for a lot of it, it was like really, really childish. So that's why I was curious to hear how Jackson felt about it. But then, yeah, to Yuvia's point in the chat, like expecting a Wreck-It Ralph kind of level. I thought that would have been a good fit.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit too childish and nonsensical for that. But at the same time, Mario games never gave you too many layers to these characters. There was never really an in-depth story. It was like, oh yeah, Bowser kidnapped Peach, and then like Mario's got to save her. Mario's always got to save somebody.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what? And to the point with the Wreck-It Ralph thing, Jackson loved Wreck-It Ralph.
That movie's awesome.
Yeah, and he was watching Wreck-It Ralph when he was like 2 years old. So it's just like, this is, and compared to Wreck-It Ralph, it's like, Wreck-It Ralph was like his jam, but like, I was actually surprised that he found this film too scary at once. But then again, it is more fighting and things like that than what you got in Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph was far more cartoonish than this.
Well, how to also remember Bowser's surrounded like usually in flame because he's got that fire castle and stuff. So I don't know how Jackson reacts to fire, but I remember like I'm thinking about like a Scar, right? Like in Lion King, his scenes used to freak me out because he was always like surrounded by green flame or red flame and stuff like that. Like I remember being really creeped out by that. So maybe there's a thing with like, I mean, black folks, we don't do well around fire because of our history.
Well, also on top of like, but Jackson when like Bowser was breathing fire and things like that, he was like a dragon. He's a dragon. So like it wasn't that. I think it was just like, there was some scenes, well, with the fire, but like, also Luigi like running through and being chased around and all that kind of stuff. I think he's at the age where he's starting now to pick up on like the danger aspect of, some of these things.
Danger.
Get on the floor. Turtles right here. Sing it.
There were times in the movie where I was like, I wonder how much the writer and or director got held back from the kind of comedy they really wanted to do. Because when they mess up that sink in like and that's one thing that Tati really liked, especially about like the way they shaped New York, Brooklyn, because all those fucking Italian Brooklyn accents. It reminded me of Green Book. I was like, Jesus Christ. And Sebastian Maniscalco is one of the voices. But when they showed that new development in the middle of the neighborhood that like looked completely different than the rest of the aesthetic, Tatiana was like, I like that. Like, because they're talking about gentrification. They're talking about how it's changing the makeup of the neighborhood. But then when they fucked up the sink and then that dog was that dog was coming at Luigi with a deadpan and then the water's helping him get over. I was like, all right, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, but that was funny.
The dog got killed. There's no way they would have caught that dog. But
I mean, he was alive at the end. He was the one like doing like the what's the dude from Rudy who did the slow clap? The black dude.
Oh, Charles Dutton.
Yeah. It felt like that. The dog did that at the end when they jack out Brooklyn, because that's essentially what happens with. So the plot doesn't really matter. That's the thing, is if you embrace the plot doesn't really matter with this movie, and that's just a fun cartoon, I think like it's easier to go on having more like of a good time. For me, I don't know what my expectations were, and I got to see it for free because Universal booked like all the screenings at like 6 p.m. on opening day for like all employees to go see with their family and stuff. And it was fine, but it was just like, I don't know, it just felt like something was missing. And even when they like did the homages to all the games, like when he's running through with Luigi through the world when they're trying to go save Peach, I was like, oh, that's cool, because this is like the game. This is like the Mario Odyssey game on the Switch. Like, this is actually really cool. And then even when like, he's fighting Donkey Kong, it's got kind of a Donkey Kong and Smash Brothers element and stuff like that. I'm like, this is cool. But
threw some barrels at him.
Yeah, but at the same time, did it just feel like, oh, y'all are just seeing what scenes people like really respond to figure out what's the spinoff we do? Did we do a Mario Kart movie? Did we do a Super Smash Brothers? Did we do a Donkey Kong movie? It all just felt like similar to how the Marvel movies have been feeling lately, which is like we're setting up a bunch of other stuff versus actually caring about the story at hand.
Yeah. I'd say you put a great point in the chat. It's like it's forced IP. So it's like is again Wreck-It Ralph, but Wreck-It Ralph did it better, and they're in the IP of their movie, and like it's like Sonic One, like the first Sonic, and like yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It's like they were really just like, hey, we got this Mario world, we're just gonna force every fucking thing, any reference to Mario in there that we
Yeah.
possibly can, and we're gonna see what happens. Even though I think they're definitely obviously spoiler alert, Yoshi's the
At
post
the end,
credit
right?
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, the post credit scene. And then, so I think they're going into because also you got that fucking rocket thing, the was it what do they call it? Something Bill? I forgot what the fucking
The
thing is
bill.
called. The fucking big fucking bullet.
Oh yeah, yeah, the bomb thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like that actually in a so it
That
kind
thing
of
used to fuck me up in the game, by the way.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So like that thing basically went out into like let's call it like the multiverse thing
Okay.
and exploded the thread between all of these different worlds. So
Yes,
now you
because
have
now
these
Brooklyn,
worlds
they could go into the different worlds and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so now the worlds are colliding and everything. And that being said, they still haven't explored Yoshi's world and things like that. So like I think there's going to be a lot of crossover. So that's where the next movies go.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I think. Well, a few things. One is in regards to Sonic One comparison. I was actually talking to one of the Universal writers the other day about it, and they mentioned that it is different from Sonic because Sonic just had one character. They didn't start expanding until the second one with Tails and Knuckles.
Yeah.
It's like they just had the one character to center around. Whereas Mario, there's so much IP you can stuff in. And I think it's almost too much in a way, but because I like that they made Peach like actually like have initiative and she wasn't just a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the voice acting by Anya Taylor Johnson was very generic. And then, she's in a rush to try to save the mushroom people. And then she's watching Mario for a whole day trying to get through this course. I was like,
Well, no, she was going to leave the next day anyways.
but you got better things to strategize than just watching this nigga found himself with the gold coins and stuff and get himself like his nuts squashed because he's jumping all weird.
Yes, he was pounding
Also,
himself.
I did love that Mario was smaller than like everybody. I love that like how like they had like the short jokes and like how like short people aren't taken seriously. I was like, I identify with you, Mario. I got you.
But I mean, but also at the same time, he had to eat that fucking mushroom to get big. So it is part of the character.
Yes.
So like, I mean, I thought that
And he doesn't like mushrooms. They established that with the Italian dinner, family dinner, and stuff like that. That was funny.
He's just force feeding himself a big ass mushroom every day.
I did ask my Italian friends to tell me if they find the accents and the dialogue offensive though, because they say "Mamma Mia" almost as much as Black people say "nigga." It was pretty wild. I was like, I don't know if this is the right context that they should be saying "Mamma Mia" constantly.
Mamma Mia,
like all the time they kept saying it.
But you know what? At the same time, we're unfortunately, so there's Italians and there's Italian American, right? Italian American, it's kind of just a floating stereotype at this point because and due to movies like Goodfellas and things like that, it's kind of been created, by media that like, hey, Italians are like this,
yeah,
and it's like so and it is a thing, and it's like, and I'm not saying that like it's a good thing or it's just, but it's just like I also feel like a lot of Italian people, they kind of it's like a badge of honor to be this weird kind of Italian. I don't know, maybe, but maybe it's also like a New York, Long Island kind of Italian thing, because that is a different kind of Italian, like the Italian New York, Staten Island, like Jersey Shore, like that's kind of a weird, that's like, hey, this caricature of Italian people, and like that's their whole thing. So it's kind of weird.
I kind of wish that they'd gone with like the boldest casting choice for the voice acting, which would be Jared Leto as both Mario and Luigi. Because I don't know if either one. I don't know if he would have done it. I don't know if either one of y'all seen House of Gucci, but his accent as Paulo is one of the like it would have been so funny as an adult. It would have been incredibly offensive probably, but for me it was hilarious.
But I mean, I do think the fact is that they use the accents in in that commercial, but then they didn't use the accent. It wasn't their real accent. It was like, you think the accents were too much, and that random guys was like, no, it was perfect. That, like, I found that funny. I thought that was a fun way to actually get around that without having the characters talking like that the entire film.
Yeah, it was interesting that they addressed the voice actor, because I realized I was like, oh, Chris Pratt kind of sounds like Chris Pratt. He's not really sounding like Mario or anything. But yeah, I think for me, like the voice acting was probably the biggest letdown, just because no one really stood out to me except for when Jack Black did the Bowser song. Even Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, like I was like, this is perfect casting, but at the same time, he's not doing anything different. He's just being Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, which is having a good time, pounding the shit out of people. And then a lot of that sounded bad. That sounded bad. I mean, he was doing the chest bumps and stuff like that. That was crazy. Because also, let's be honest, the Donkey Kong world that they went into, that could have gotten dicey real quick.
Yeah.
In regards to like any kind of offensiveness, like that's where they could have gotten in trouble. But
yeah,
they towed the line a little bit. I was like a bit annoyed by how much they shoehorn stuff in, like the Mario Kart stuff. And I'm like, this is to sell toys. This is to sell games and shit.
I mean, that's the reason that you make a film like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why. I mean, UBS research, she mentions that this had a budget of $100 million, but just at the time of this recording, which is a week after this movie's come out, this movie's already grossed $375.6 million. It broke numerous records in its box office debut over the long Easter weekend. The picture scored the highest opening of all time for an animated film.
Yeah.
This movie made gangbusters. It's going to continue to do so.
I mean, but you also got to look at the fact is that the Nintendo Switch, stuff like that. Mario is basically the only thing that people are playing on there for the most part, right?
Well, Mario
then you also have the fact is that the Nintendo is the first Nintendo was actually in this film.
Yes, yeah, that was fun.
You know what I'm saying? Then the fact that the Mario property has been around since what, 1988 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So like
it's been a while.
This is being sold to us, to our age group, and anyone closely in the adjacent, maybe like 4 to 5 years, and then they're getting all of our kids, right? So we want to see it. Our kids want to see it. Of course, this was going to make money. I think, like, in actuality, as much as it was like this is a fucking money grab. Beyond a money grab, but I think they did it well enough where this is a money grab, and this will continue to be a money grab down the road.
This is going to be huge. I mean, this is going to change a lot in regards to video game adaptations. There's no way that the folks over at Disney aren't like in a room right now figuring out a Kingdom Hearts film if they haven't already. There's no way that they're not, because
Zelda's coming, baby.
I mean, for Nintendo, definitely. There's going to be a Zelda movie. There's probably going to be a Mega Man movie. There's probably going to be a Donkey Kong movie. All this shit, yeah. And then Jack Black already said that he wants to bring on Pedro Pascal as Wario, which I think would be a inspired choice.
See, and that's the thing. I think that you're not going to, if they're smart, they're not going to give us Wario to the third one. The next one's going to be centered around Yoshi and Yoshi's Island and all that and all that business, whatever's going on there. And then the third one, you're gonna get Wario.
Yeah, because if it's just like Wario was the only other big villain for Mario besides Bowser, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Well, so obviously Bowser's being kept in a dish, right? All he has to do is bump himself.
No, he's in the cage now. He was like in a bird cage or something at the end.
Yeah, but all he has to do, but he's still tiny.
Yeah, all he has to do is get big and he's out.
Yeah, and he's out. So if that's the case, he's gonna get out pretty soon. Yeah. All somebody has to do is slap him, he's gonna wreck shop because
Mhm.
also like Mario and Luigi need the stars to beat that guy.
Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, I think Bowser, escapes, and then he escapes to Yoshi's Island, and that's where he starts trying to take over, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
And then you go to, and then
Because
they
Yoshi got those
defeat.
eggs that have all the superpowers and stuff.
There you go.
Mhm.
And then the third one, so they defeat Bowser. Bowser's gone. Now they finally got over that, and then you bring in Wario, alternate universe, and
Yeah.
here comes evil Mario, and yada yada yada. Like it just makes sense.
Who's the Luigi? Who's the like the bad version of Luigi?
Oh, I don't remember it.
It's Wario and Waluigi. Waluigi? Waluigi? Waluigi. Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Yuvia. And Tatiana, who's behind me saying it at the same time. So if they were really smart, they would get Pedro Pascal and John Leguizamo.
There
Because
you
John
go.
Leguizamo's been kind of unhappy about, like, I guess not. He's got a few things that he's grinding some axes about, but he like is boycotting the Mario movie, and so it's like to bring him back in the fold, especially since Bob Hoskins is gone, like that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be like even though the '90s movie bombed, and we're
Oh, it's
eventually going to
terrible.
review it. I think that would be a nice like olive branch, so to speak.
Yeah.
And also, the man gets his money, because he getting old. I want John Leguizamo to be able to retire. He's got a good body of work. I want him to chill.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Because if anything, he's wrapping up with work. I feel like he's in something every other month.
Yeah, he's been doing
like,
a lot of stuff.
I saw him on a
recently.
Daily Show. I was like, "Oh, you're guest hosting? Like, what's going? Like, he doesn't
Even
stop."
though he looked a little, he didn't look rough. He looked a little angry, and maybe it's because this movie was coming out. But it was just like there was kind of fire in his eyes.
Well, he was talking about some stuff that's like really been bothering him, like politically, like on the Daily Show from the clips I saw. So, and like he gets fired up about stuff like that, especially like when it comes to the Latin community, but also representation and things like that, especially in Hollywood. And given everything happening with like the guild negotiations and stuff, yeah, there's a lot for him to be mad about.
Yeah, it's like you could see it all over his face.
Yeah.
So it's like his run on the Daily Show didn't seem as fun as the other guest hosts recently. Jesus Christ, Mach with his fucking tail. Yeah, everybody just coming to this fucking
Justin's
office.
cat, Justin's son. Everyone's been popping into the
Christ.
office lately.
This is what happens when Paul leaves town. I just can't fucking get a break.
Yeah, you're podcasting in the dark, man. You look. This is creepy. Are you okay?
It's a me, just you.
I mean, they did that. It's a me, and then wow, and
yeah, wow. His whole family apparently says that shit.
Yeah, I did like the Easter eggs. I think there was a little bit too many Easter eggs. Like some of the Easter eggs that Yuvia found in her trivia were the Toad at the antique store asked about an NES cartridge, to which the clerk tells them to blow on it. Yeah. There's a French restaurant called Cheste Cornat, which can be translated as Duck Hunt, which is another, like, that was synonymous with Super Mario Brothers. Because did you guys have the
first NES game? Yeah,
it was like the bundle, right? It was like the gun, the game, and then Mario.
No, and the system. It came with the system.
Yeah. I mean, how much was that back in the day?
Probably like $300.
And so that's like the equivalent of like 600 now, right?
Something like that.
Be like a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. And back in the day, remember, we thought that was state of the art with the being able to shoot the ducks.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
We were like, this is amazing. And then when GTA 3 came out, we're like, oh, video game has changed. And now look at shit. It's like you're playing a movie.
It's crazy.
What's going to happen by the time Jackson gets older? They're going to be in the game.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like, I don't like VR is crazy.
Yeah.
And, I have an Oculus and it's really dope. But like, I don't know if it's like, I think it's the graphics in the Oculus or the Meta Quest. This is the worst fucking thing that ever happened to it. I feel like that has to jump up to like even like even like the graphics that we were seeing like maybe like 5 to 10 years ago for it to really be something where people are just like, oh no, this is really, really cool. Yeah. I mean, and it's getting better every fucking day, but like right now I still find it's kind of in its infancy.
Okay.
Have you ever played use the Oculus? You don't have one, right?
No. I don't. I like to stay in. It's already tough enough being in this reality, so to go in a different virtual reality, that's just not something that I'm excited about.
Actually, so like the VR, I actually use it more to fucking work out than I do to actually play games.
Oh yeah,
like the boxing things and the gym stuff like that is actually really cool. You actually get a real good workout with that.
I wouldn't mind doing the boxing stuff. I used to like I used to love Nintendo Wii because I would play tennis and boxing all the time.
Yeah, the boxing game, the Rise of Creed, is fucking nuts.
Am I fighting Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, you can fight Michael B. Jordan.
Hell
You can
yeah,
fight,
I gotta get that. So I can
you can
beat the
fight
shit out
fucking
of him.
Rocky, fucking Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, all those guys. It's actually really dope. Ivan Drago will fuck you up though.
Oh no. I feel like one punch from Ivan, it's like I'm down for the count.
Literally, yeah.
Oh really?
He can literally lay you out. You can be beating his ass. He hits you once, he could put you down.
So you're like you're moving a lot then.
No, like you're like bobbing and weaving in your room and shit like that.
Oh shit. Yeah, I might do it, but I might get actually concussed from a video game.
Well, no, you actually just would probably bounce your head off a wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll be swinging so wildly, I'll like hit a pillar or something.
Yeah, I've done that. I punched the wall by accident before. It does not feel good. It does not feel good.
It's just like, oh no.
It's like, God damn it.
And then you take the helmet off, but then you try to take it off with the wrong hand. It's just chaos.
Yeah, it is chaos. But it's great. Or you almost, hit your children when they're trying to go. He's like, I have to wait till they go to bed. I have to wait to go to bed because I'm trying to hook off on this nigga. And here's Jackson running all up on me. And end up getting booger hooked.
Did you know that Keegan Michael Key voiced Toad?
I did not know that until I was looking at it.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I was like, that's Keegan Michael Key? Like,
yeah.
I didn't expect that. Toad was kind of unhinged in this, by the way.
Yes, he was. Yes,
this nigga was making omelets for guards and shit. Like, and he was just like, "You're my best friend." Like, this dude is not. I don't know if you want this guy in your right pocket. Well, I mean, as your right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant to say. I always felt like there was like one night when Mario will close his eyes and Toad's gonna slit his throat. Like there's something unsettling about this iteration of Toad.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't like it.
But you know what though?
He's like, I'll take you to the dark lands. I'm like, Toad's gonna be a double agent.
You know what? I thought about that too. Because he was getting all of this intel. They were getting all this intel on like Mario getting trained at such and such and such. I'm just like, how do they know this? I'm just like, don't tell me it's gonna be Toad.
Yeah. But did you find the scene between Bowser and Luigi to be slightly homoerotic? When he's touching Luigi's mustache and like twirling it in his nail and stuff, he's like, "Tell me about the other human that is courting my princess." I was like, I don't like this scene. Then he plucked the hair, and I was just like, "There's something sexual behind this. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it."
Well, at least he's plucking the hair on his face.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Yeah, because we never really understand why Bowser's obsessed with Peach.
He's just in love with her. Because
she's
the only attractive person in this whole entire land. It's not that's not a turtle or a fucking
or a
Muppet.
Koopa. Yeah, Koopa or whatever.
Or a fucking mushroom or a fucking penguin, that.
Because he can't get his rocks off with that creepy dude with the glasses and the cane, the magical cane. He's like,
actually, you think about it, that motherfucker knows fucking magic. So he could fucking jack him off from across the room. put a little ring around. You don't have to touch him.
You nasty.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I would have liked to see.
You know what? The look on Yuvia's face was all I needed.
Yo, when Mario though was getting fucked up by Donkey Kong, that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
He was getting the shit beat up. But
then he turned into the cat thing. Like that was like it was cool the way they used some of this stuff.
Oh yeah, like the not the one-ups, but like the coin boxes that like can level up and stuff like that. So Super Nintendo World, they have that shit. Like where you hit it and like you can get coins, especially if you have like this wristband where you can collect the coins and stuff. But you just have to wait to get like when I went there, if it's friends and family of the Universal, so it was a little bit more controlled. I imagine now there's probably fights all the time.
What
From
does like an actual coin come out?
No, but like it like lights up and stuff like that, and like a lot of stuff is interactive, so it's like
Gotcha.
screens moving and shit like that. It is pretty cool. It's just like I would lose my mind if I were a parent.
Oh, bro. It's funny because like, you know, the auto shows in New York for the last week. And like last year I took Jackson. And this year I didn't. My friends was like, "Oh, you didn't take Jackson?" And I was just like, "Bro, no, it's way too much.
Yeah.
It's way too much." And I can imagine being somewhere where he's truly, truly interested and all about it. And you know, it's like, and I can't imagine like with two of them, just she.
I mean, but that's what you go for, right? You go for to see their like eyes light up and be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," you know. But
yeah, I know. And
for
that's
you
gonna
as
be
an
the
adult,
bane
you
of
just
my existence.
yeah, you use an adult like you're just like, I'm dealing with the stress of dealing with all these other stupid parents and their families, but then also I'm just seeing my bank account just the window and money as the kid's like, I want that, you know.
Yep. Man, listen, I'm just trying to buy like, you know, so I bought Jackson like, you know, like a T-ball set. But I bought him one. So it's like a convertible one. Like it has like a little like kind of like fucking hook on it where like the ball swings down, so you can hit it and it's you know flips around and shit like that. And I'm just like, I need to get him in the interactive stuff, the sports stuff. So that's the stuff. So he's not going to be interested in all this other bullshit that's going to take all my money away because sports is enough. Like doing all that stuff is like it's crazy expensive.
Yeah, that's one thing I like. I don't think I ever give my mom enough credit for is like all the extracurriculars that she invested in for me. You know, like between taekwondo, like you said, t-ball. What happened, Justin? Did Jackson do something? What happened? What happened?
Jackson just walked in here and he said, "Daddy," and he had his potty in his hand and it was packed full of shit. And he showed me that he put caca. His pants are on, so he has his ass is probably chock full of shit right now. Because I'm pretty sure he did not wipe himself thoroughly. So those underwear, they're trash. but he just had a bowl full of shit in his hands. I'm just like, dump that in the toilet, Brandon Jackson. Jesus,
I'm Brandon. I don't how to dump my shit, Justin. Your son doesn't know.
Oh my god. I'm sweating right now. Holy shit.
So we gotta wrap this up then. So you can help with some of his shit emergency.
Oh god.
But before we get to our ratings, Justin, we did get a few Patriot thoughts for this bonus episode. And folks, remember, if you sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/MediaPocket, you're guaranteed to have your thoughts and reviews read on the show. Just he heard Mario on mushrooms and was just like, oh, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Hey.
So he's just walking around a dark house with a bowl full of shit?
No, it's light in there.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at your background. Like, folks, also go to youtube.com/MediaPocket and subscribe to our YouTube page so you get to see the videos. Yeah, because you're surrounded in darkness, so I figured the whole house is dark.
No,
so that means the kid's just running around in the darkness with a bowl of shit. Maybe we should keep this. Maybe we should keep this on Patreon. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Listen, and that wasn't the small shit. That was a big shit in there. That's a man-sized shit. He's walking around. Fuck.
Okay, so first
shit's like a fucking greyhound.
First Patriot thought is from Jay Brooks. My kid loved it. It was surprisingly good. Basically, I didn't think they did. I think they didn't fuck it up, which is rare with game to film. They'll probably do at least 2 sequels and a prequel if it does well enough. And then I responded to Jay Brooks with the Hollywood Reporter saying that this is going to be the biggest animated opening ever. And he was like, oh, well, he's like, he then wrote back, okay, 3 sequels and 3 prequels. I think 3 sequels and 3 spinoffs. I think that's what that's going to happen.
I don't think they could do the prequels.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact, Universal's definitely like, how many of these things can we get into production like ASAP Rocky?
Yeah.
And then Sean T. wrote, I took my kid to see this movie and I enjoyed it way more than I expected. I really appreciate how they didn't hold anything back. They put everything in it like they didn't expect to get a sequel, which made it great. In a way, that's kind of right.
Yeah.
It almost did. Like, I don't know if like, I definitely don't think Universal expected it to be this big, but it definitely like yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. It's like, hey, if we never get another one, let's just put as much as we can into it.
Yep.
Because
So,
even with
but that's
Yoshi,
the
they did
thing is
show the
like,
Yoshi world briefly. You know what I mean? It's not like there was
yeah.
no hint to Yoshi
So,
before.
but that's the thing is like, I think the good thing about it is, going as hard as they did with this film, it really like even if you didn't like this, if the story didn't hit you, it was like it was at least going to be enjoyable enough where you're just like that was fun because it
Yeah.
gave you it hits in nostalgia, it gives you all the fucking shit for the kids, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to give you just something brand new and fresh out of a franchise that's been around for 40 years almost.
Yep. Fresh shit, just like Jackson has in his bowl.
Yep, carrying it around in the
And then it
dark
is
room.
short. You know,
Hopefully,
UVA put
it
a
didn't trip, and it's now all on my rug.
oh Jesus Christ. UVA did post it is short and it is 92 minutes. It's very
Yeah,
short. It's quick. It goes by fast. So it's rather painless, I will say.
which again, it also speaks to the attention span of children and things like that. So I think in that case, it was actually well done.
Yeah, and it also like allows for more repeat viewings because remember, like when you got something like John Wick 4, you got a 3-hour movie. That's also, I mean, that's a different playing field, but you have a 3-hour movie, which means there's fewer screenings you could put in a day. Whereas if this thing's an hour and a half, it's just
Yep,
like clockwork all the
yep.
time. So Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So, guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a
Excel.
film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So, Brandon, we sat down and we watched the 2023 film, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, starring Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan Michael Key, Seth Rogen, and Fred Armisen. What say you, sir?
Yeah, this gets a small. This gets a small. It was fine. It was I definitely didn't have really like any real expectations, but I do think that there could have been a little bit more substance to it. I think that instead of just eye candy, like I think it could have been a little bit deeper. Even like the little emotional beats where like Mario talked about like he's not a hero and no one really takes him serious and stuff. I did like resonate with that, but it never went beyond surface level. And I get it; it's a kids movie, right? But like, at least give me some character depth if you're not going to give us some real story because you're following the template of the video games, which never really gave us story, right? Like, I'm not expecting an emotional journey like I do in Zelda games. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of know what I was getting, but even then, I'm surprised by how generic everything was. It didn't really like give me anything different that I had never seen before in a movie. And maybe I also saw it in the wrong setting. I think if I saw this in 3D IMAX, especially the Mario Kart scene, that'd be pretty damn cool.
Mm.
But even then with the Mario Kart, I thought they could have done way more with that. They did the most basic level of Mario Kart and like the Space Galaxy loop thing. Like
Oh, is
of
it
all
Rainbow Road?
yeah, but out of all the worlds that are available in Mario Kart,
Yeah, but I mean, at the same, well,
that's the
good.
least that for me, that's just like the least visually like unique one that they have to offer. So
Fair.
those are just my thoughts. Justin, what about you?
Actually, I'm gonna give it a large.
Oh, okay.
I think that they,
Parents are
like,
rating this a lot higher. I think that that's interesting. I mean, it makes sense because you're seeing it with kids.
so I think that because Mario doesn't have any real baseline, story to actually build upon.
Yeah.
I think this is it's rather generic, but I think that's kind of what it needed to kind of introduce it to an audience and also a young audience. And
Mm.
even just appease us as people who've known the Mario franchise for such a long time. Now, I think in the subsequent sequels of this, they're going to have to go a little deeper, which I think that's kind of the idea is like, let's give them something basic and then we're going to build upon that.
Yeah.
But I think for what we got, I think it hit all the points. It gave you the nostalgia. It gave it gave you all the IP that you could have ever fucking wanted. So like I think it did its job and more, and I think that's definitely seen throughout the box office for this thing, and I think this thing's going to continue to be a monster for some time. So for me, I think it actually did its job and more because I thought I kind of had low expectations
Mm.
for this film, and I came out and was like, okay. I'm happy I watched it, and I actually watched it twice.
Oh, okay.
So, for me, and like the second time I saw it, that's when I saw some of the things that I missed. And I'm just like, actually, that's pretty cool.
Got it. Got it. So maybe a second watch is needed.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen anytime soon, but maybe,
Listen, I'll tell you what, with kids and things like that, like you're always going to have to watch something twice, especially if you actually want to see parts of it.
That's
because they're just nothing but a distraction. But
yeah, trust me, I saw Incredibles 2 with my goddaughter, and I was just like, she's acting like she's never seen a movie before. And then Tatiana was like, she hasn't. I was like, oh, shit.
Like, oh no.
Because she was like, I remember you said that she was sitting between us. She, in the middle of the movie, for no reason, she just gets up and looks around. And we're like, what are you doing? She's like, what? The movie's this way.
But that's the thing, is like, kids don't have that level of attention, or just the fact is like, oh, I'm just supposed to be watching this.
Yeah.
They watch a movie, they're just like, okay, and now I throw something.
Yep.
now I grab a fucking bucket and I shit in it and I bring it around the house.
I will say that kids sometimes can be the funniest people to watch movies with, because I remember I was watching a Goofy movie for this podcast with Isela. Mm-hmm. And I remember halfway through the movie, she just turned to me and was like, what's going on?
Why is that man so angry? Like Jackson be like, ooh, he's fighting, he angry. Like watching like Spider-Man and things like that. Him angry. I'm just like, Jackson.
Him angry. Yeah. Why is he talking like that? Why is he talking like Jar Jar Binks?
Because he speaks 2 fucking languages.
That's fair.
He has a problem conjugating. Right, he's conjugating 2 fucking languages.
Him down. Well, I mean, you also don't speak a complete language sentences either.
Him downstairs.
Exactly. So it's all you too, bro.
Oh my God.
Justin, how can people follow you, bro?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It. Brandon.
Y'all can follow me at American Counts, AmericanCounts.com. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast and all social media platforms. Be sure to go over to youtube.com/Medium Popcorn. Push that subscription button so you get alert about all future reviews and celebrity interviews we have on the channel. And Justin, if you want to support the show financially, what can they do, my brother?
Guys, take yourself on down to patreon.com/Medium Popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages up there. Our entire backlog is on Patreon. We have a bunch of bonus shows. We have the rant, What Am I Watching? Tati's Take, bonus episodes. There's so much on Patreon. You got to be a part of it. And again, that is patreon.com/Medium Popcorn. Sign on up and Idris will shout you out.
That's right. Do it, baby. Do it to you. Blue in the face.
Even though I feel like, what if Idris was Bowser?
I mean, that's too much, because he's done Shere Khan and he's done the Zootopia character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knuckles, that's right. You said. So yeah. It would have been a bit much, but also Chris Pratt's out here doing all the voices, so why not? Fuck
yeah, why not?
They could have him as because we never got the other Kongs. We just got Diddy Kong, who made a quick cameo. So there's other opportunities to do some more there.
Was it Dixie Kong? Daisy Kong?
There's Dixie Kong. There's also the grandfather one.
But the grandfather was the one that was in the movie.
No, that's a different Kong than what's in the game.
That was a king. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different Kong than what's in the Donkey Kong spin-off game. That was actually really hard to play.
With Donkey Kong Country?
Was it Donkey Kong? What was the one that had all the families that you had to get like the little booster thing for?
Oh, I don't know. I the last Donkey Kong game I played was Donkey Kong Country, and that was a great game.
I want to get that for the Switch, because they have like the remastered from like the OG SE Super Nintendo, because I never had a Super Nintendo, and I remember seeing that game and be like, that looks so cool.
And it was great. It was a great game.
Yeah, I died a bunch of times though. All right, folks, that's our Medium Popcorn bonus episode on the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Hope you all enjoyed it, and tweet at us. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Because maybe I was off, because I don't have no kids, or maybe my child's spirit is just gone. And Justin liked it because he had kids. Yeah. But shit in buckets.
Yep. Shit in buckets and carried around. And he's got a dirty ass right now, so I got to go take care of that.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. He's-
Clean your ass. Clean your ass.